Hi, Eric Lanask here. We are in Miami, Florida for ITEXPO. Jeannie, good to have you on the program again.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
We've talked, and then I've talked with the Vitelity team a number of times, mostly over the last couple of years around the V-Mobile solution.
Absolutely.
Certainly we thought it was an innovative solution, something that had the potential to make a difference in the market. There was always a little bit of a what-if scenario, kind of, just a little something missing.
Absolutely.
And that was, the concept of bringing that mobile, really creating a mobile office was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the True Mobile extension, or not, it's really just a mobile office number.
Exactly.
But it was the availability of different devices.
Exactly.
And we've talked about this. We've got some exciting announcements to make around that.
I was even just thinking about it. It was a year ago tomorrow that we first launched V-Mobile at ITEXPO in 2014. So it is very exciting that tomorrow we will be launching Bring Your Own Device. So what that allows you to do, and we all use smartphones all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm an Apple person. You may be an Android guy. We may have somebody else who's a different device, and those become just an extension of who we are. And it's very difficult to be told, well, you can only use this technology, but you have to switch phones. Mm-hmm. And it just immediately makes you think, well, I'd really rather use what I know, and I don't want to switch. Mm-hmm. And now that is possible. So what customers are able to do, if they currently have a phone on the Sprint network, because that's the underlying network for V-Mobile, they can switch any device they have on the Sprint network over to V-Mobile. And they basically keep their Sprint contract, so it just adds in all the V-Mobile functionality. Or they also have the option of just buying a new phone, and then we add a new SIM card, and then that goes onto the Vitelity network as well. So you really have the option of any phone you want to bring that you can incorporate into V-Mobile. Then additionally, we have new devices. We've been primarily selling Samsung 3s and 4s, and we now have two new options that are actually new phones of Nexus 5s and Moto Gs. So it really does allow customers to map up the additional functionality of V-Mobile, but it allows them to use the device that they're comfortable with.
So let's take a step back. How, if I've got, a Galaxy S5, how do I turn that into a V-Mobile device?
So what we do is we actually sell the SIM cards, and I think they're $3, $4. And we just switch out that SIM card, and then you go into our portal, we sign you up as a customer, and then you're able to marry that into your PBX system, and you have all of that additional office technology that you would have. The only thing that's a little bit different is, as you know, V-Mobile hands off between cellular and Wi-Fi, is there's actually an application that's added that's not inherent in the phone, because we're not flashing that to the phone. But otherwise, everything else is available.
And that's just a simple app install.
Yes.
To make that available as well.
Exactly.
Wow, that really is exciting news, and kind of helps overcome that one little obstacle. That
I feel like this truly is the thing that's going to open the floodgates for V-Mobile.
Are there any limitations to the devices that you can use as long as it's on the Sprint network?
As long as it's on the Sprint network. Or like I said, you can go buy your own phone at the Apple Store and bring that to our network, which ultimately would end up running on the Sprint network. But, yeah.
Wow, that's very cool stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing that we wanted to talk about is the concept of security, and talk about enterprise security a lot, and specifically mobile device security as it relates to applications and data. But not as many conversations about the security of a voice conversation.
Yeah.
But the data that is part of that voice conversation really ought to be as secure as anything else.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times people, and there's so much discussion about data security, and especially when you buy things online.
Yeah.
People looking for ways to hack into things, and I think people take it for granted that their cell phone is secure, and that the conversations that are happening on your mobile phone are secure. And when we first started talking about it, we almost made the joke about it used to be on The Sopranos. Tony would always tell somebody, "Don't call me on a cell phone, call me on a landline." Well, that is because you are able to. You can hack in and identify where the call's coming from, who's receiving the call, all of the credentials associated with the call, as well as all of the audio content of the call. So if you're exchanging credit card numbers with a retail provider, if you're exchanging contract information with a lawyer, if you're talking about patient information with your doctor, all of those things can be hacked and captured. So what we're doing and what we're launching is we now have encrypted SIP trunking, which encrypts all of that data.
Wow.
So very exciting.
Now, how are you enabling that?
So the way that it works, and we'll be honest up front, there's some technical implementations that
Understood.
One of my colleagues, he can answer that, and I'm hoping that you come down and do a video downstairs. But it's very easy to set up. You can set it up in seconds, and then that applies to any of the VoIP calls that are going over your services, and there's no additional charge for it.
No additional charge. What was the motivation? What was the driver for that for you?
And you've met some of the developers at Vitelity,
Sure.
and these guys are always looking for innovative ways to improve voice and communications. And frankly, Chris Brown was tied up in it for a little while and said, he's also involved in DEF CON and some of the hacker and security conferences, and he felt like we owe it to our customers to make sure that their calls are secure, and felt like this is something I want to solve. And the going thought was always that it requires too many resources, and no one can ever figure it out. And when you tell Chris that, he's going to figure it out, and he did. We've had customers. We actually launched it in beta version at AstroCon this fall. So we've had customers who've been successfully encrypting all of their calls since that point, and we're ready to roll it out. So,
well, I certainly would agree that Chris does enjoy a challenge.
Yes, he does. So,
but Jeannie, as always, great to see you. It's been a pleasure chatting, and enjoy the show here.
Thank you, Eric. It's been a pleasure.